What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at the 2024 Jeep Wrangler. This one is the 392 Rubicon Final Edition, finished off in Anvil. MSRP is $104,500. Big shout out to Garber Jeep for providing this awesome off-roader for today's video. Take a look at their website linked down below. Now, while this is a final edition, that's actually not accurate. They will be doing the 392 into 2025 and probably keep doing it for quite some time. Taking a look underneath the hood with the 392 Wrangler, of course you're going to find that 392 Hemi V8 underneath the hood. Now, I do like for the intake system, you have this whole contraption underneath the hood for the hydro glide. That way any water and air coming through the hood scoop is going to provide you with nice cool air without messing anything up. Now, this engine overall is going to be pushing 470 horsepower with 470 pound-feet of torque. It's a 6.4 liter naturally aspirated 8-cylinder with an 8-speed automatic transmission and a full-time 4-wheel drive system. Overall curb weight is around 5,300 pounds, max towing capacity is 3,500 pounds, 0 to 60 is 4.5 seconds, quarter mile time is 13 seconds, and running on a 21.5 gallon fuel tank, you can expect 13 miles per gallon in the city with 16 out on the highway. The overall length is 188.4 inches with a wheelbase at 118.4, width is 73.9, and height is 74.5 inches. Of course, the 392 is an off-roader with approach angle at 44.5 degrees, ground clearance around 11.6 inches, breakover angle 22.6 degrees, and departure angle is 37.5 degrees with water fording at 34.5 inches. Moving on to the styling with the 392 Rubicon Wrangler. As you can tell, this thing is pretty aggressive looking. You got those 35-inch tires, bronze accents. Definitely is a big step up from a traditional Rubicon. You're going to get the nice LED headlights and then some gray and black accents throughout the grille. You still get the traditional 7 bars, so it still has that classic Jeep vibe. You got a forward-facing camera and then LED lights on the front fenders as well. Down below, you're going to get a steel front bumper with LED fog lights. It is modular in design, so you can even take off those corners. Got a nice bull bar as well, and then a Warn winch all integrated. Got your hooks up in front, tow hooks on the top part, finishing more of that bronze color. And then down below, you can get a good look at some of the solid axle with the skid plate design. You're also going to see just how bold and aggressive it looks. This thing is pretty cool. And you have a functional hood scoop right up in front on the top of the hood to get all that airflow into that air filter as we saw with the hood open. Got your 392 badge, a cool graphic in the center, the same rubber bumpers that we can pop down that windshield, and then Rubicon written out on the hood with the bronze accents. At the side, you got these 35-inch tires with beadlock capable wheels, finished in a nice bronze style, and these are also 17-inch diameter. Has a fantastic look, and there's even an extra lip on the front and rear fender flares. That way you're not going to chip up your paint. Got your final edition logo on that cool sticker, and then the trail rated badge as well as Jeep and Wrangler down below with all more bronze accents. You're also going to see we have a nice set of Fox shocks in all 4 corners, and we got Dana 44 axles front and rear, and some rock rails in the lower side. The side profile still gives you that nice boxy Jeep Wrangler style that we love on these 4-door ones. And then for the roof, of course, it is finished in body color, 3-piece removable section, and you have the removable doors. Nice sharp body lines throughout the side, and then just some plastic material for the mirrors as well as the grab handles. As we walk around towards the back, I love just how old school this thing looks. Still keeps the nice tradition going. We have a nice set of LED taillights in back and the reinforcement piece still to fit the massive 35 on the tire carrier for the swing gate. Has a really good look in the back of this 392. You're also going to see down below we have that trailer hitch with all of your connections, the dual exhaust system with the active exhaust, and then we have more bronze for the tow hook back here, more metal along this bumper, and then parking sensors all integrated. On the driver's side, you are going to get that fuel cap as well. And then wrapping it up, 392 definitely has an aggressive appearance. Moving on to the key fob, we get lock, unlock, remote start, and your panic button, Jeep on the backside, and a manual key if needed. Now we can also lock this, and let's use that remote start. Take a listen. Definitely one epic sounding off-roader. Tapping that, if we go to the door, just by grabbing it, it will unlock, and we can take a look at the interior. Now this one is going to get the Nappa leather seating surfaces and more of the bronze accents all throughout. You got black along the door panel with the padding on the armrest, bronze stitching. Got your 2 different grab handles, one to help remove the door panel, lock and unlock, mirror controls, of course your release handle and storage. You have all power controls for both front seats, and then a nice look at the beautiful leather. Definitely smells great in here, smells like a premium vehicle. 392 is all stitched into the backrest as well. And then we have a black leather steering wheel with paddle shifters, and then you can see the bronze stitching all around. And then now sitting inside the 392 Wrangler, keep my foot on the brake, let's fire it up. Taking a look at the gauge cluster, you're going to get that tack on the left along with your transfer case. We have some digital info in the center and then a speedometer readout on the far right. Just like any other Jeep, you can configure the center screen, scrolling through all sorts of different information like vitals within the truck. Continuing down, we have some off-road settings for your drivetrain, pitch and roll, and then all sorts of other basic information throughout the vehicle. So nice setup overall. We got Jeep written out in the center, those controls along with Bluetooth and audio. We also have cruise control on the right with the distance pacing. The nice paddle shifters up above, and then underneath them on the back we do have more volume and tuning controls. We have the stalk on the right side for the windshield wiper stalk, and then on the left side you're going to get your turn signal. Down below we do have headlight controls, interior dimming, 2 nice Jeeps, and then we have some vinyl material around that air vent and some stitching for this dash. It has a nice soft touch material. I like this vinyl as well as that stitching. Grab handle has some more of this nice soft touch material, and then the updated screen for 2024. We have all of our climate settings. You have your home icon as well. You can configure this and customize it. We have media as well. Full screen navigation of course will pop up. Then we have phone integration, and then under vehicle we can take a look at some of the cameras. Got that forward view, which I love how you can even see that bull bar, and then of course a rear view as well. From here we have dashboard with your off-road pages. Going in here you can see your steering angle, all the different differentials. You have accessory gauges, pitch and roll, and then back to the camera settings. We can go into settings, see a few more things within the truck, and then on the apps you have a few more things you're able to adjust. Of course when you go into reverse, backup camera automatically pops up, and we have those sensors popping up. We have our air vents down below, and then all physical climate controls. We have fan speed in the center, heated seats, tuning and scrolling, we have volume, and then right here we can turn on and off that active exhaust. Already, that makes a big difference as you just heard. A few more basic controls, window controls as well, different auxiliaries, and then some more off-road settings like the locking differentials, sway bar disconnect, the off-road plus, and extra auxiliaries. We have our gear select with manual shift mode. It says 392 up on top, and then for the transfer case we have all of those manual controls. We have storage down below, manual park and brake, and then nice storage in the center. 2 different areas, and of course a lockable glove box. One last look, looks like a Wrangler in here as expected, fully loaded. Basically the bronze and paddle shifters are the biggest things you're going to notice for this package, and of course the Nappa leather seating. We have the nice 3-piece hardtop, dome mic and speakers up above, all the manual latches, garage door buttons, and then a nice thin mirror. Moving on to the back seat space, grab the door handle and open it up. You're going to see similar door panel with the black as well as bronze stitching, the same cargo net. With the seats folded down, they will fold nice and flat, giving you plenty of cargo room, and then very easily you can manually lift them up. The headrest will fold down for better driver visibility, and you have 2 latches, one to independently do that. However, you can also pull the second one and pull everything down. So nice to see that. And then with the center seat, both of these will fold down together. And I love how in the center, we have a few cool configurations. So popping that, the headrest actually has cup holder and storage all integrated into it, along with the armrest. So it's a really nice touch. Of course, this will even move with the headrest itself. You have climate vents back here. You also can see window controls, different USBs, a tad bit of storage, and then extra storage behind the front seats. Hopping into the back seat with the Wrangler 392. It's a pretty sweet off-roader. Now sitting back here, the seats, they're fine. They are a little on the short side, not really cradling my leg all too much. So kind of like I'm sitting on the edge of a bench. The leather's gorgeous. This Nappa leather is really soft, smells great, honestly. Sounds weird, but it smells really good. But you're gonna see speakers up above. You do have the sound insulation pad throughout this interior, just to give you a little bit of sound insulation. The seats themselves are decent. I wouldn't say they're the greatest. Good enough for throwing your friends in the back. Good amount of glass and visibility. Of course, you can take the doors, the roof, all this off to get endless headroom, which is really cool. But nonetheless, you do get some decent amenities back here, so not bad for being a hardcore off-roader. Moving on to the cargo area, you got your grab handle over here, and we can swing open the tire as well as this door. Got some nice 392 information, which is really cool. The normal Wranglers will just have normal Wrangler stuff. So nice to see that addition. You're also gonna see a built-in compressor right here, great for airing down when you are hitting the off-road trails in this insane off-roader. Popping this open, we have some accessories like the carpeted floor mats in here, and then you are gonna see we have the Alpine audio system, and from back here even, you can pull down the headrest and get these seats to fold nice and flat, and you're gonna have a decent amount of storage space in this. Popping down this side as well. Not too bad for a smaller SUV overall. You're gonna see that roll cage up above, so when you take the roof off, you got that nice design exposed. On the floor, you are able to lift this up. We got a little bit of extra storage space, and then areas to put the bolts for when you do remove the doors as well as the roof. From here, we can just manually close the window and then grab this and we can close it up. All right, setting off in the 392. You gotta love a Hemi V8 in a Wrangler. It sounds so good, even just kind of giving it some half throttle action. And the exhaust, when it's on, it sounds so meaty. When you turn it off, it goes away, just kind of feels like a quiet V8. So I think they've done a pretty decent job tuning that sound. Now, as far as normal driving, this basically drives like your typical Wrangler. We do have the four-wheel drive auto, so it's a little bit different than just like rear-wheel drive with a four-wheel drive transfer case. So it's basically an all-wheel drive vehicle. It drives heavy. You can tell this thing is substantial, but it is cool. The valve kind of automatically opens. Yeah, once you're above 3,000, the valve kind of automatically opens, which is kind of a cool touch. But this thing drives like a tank. You can tell it's not a sports car. It's definitely very floaty on the road, especially with these massive tires, the upgraded suspension. This thing is at home hitting the dirt, of course. However, this is so much fun out on the roads, even driving this very slow. It just feels cool, and it's a vehicle that just puts a smile on your face. You can hear some wind noise around. This might help a little bit, these little panels, probably honestly not that much, but it does actually eliminate some of the echo. So that's actually probably worth getting, I'm now noticing as I talk more. But you're nice and high up, the seats are decently comfortable. I mean, the things you touch are nice. So it's an expensive car, I mean, $100,000 plus, so you would expect some nice materials, and at least you do get some nice things inside. But what you're paying for is the massive engine and just this crazy setup. Steering has some weight to it as well. While it's a vague steering and while you're driving you're gonna have to fight it to go straight, I mean, it's just cool. Visibility's as expected in any four-door Wrangler, so easy to see out of. It's an easy vehicle to drive. It's just a little bit taller than your typical one, but you have some nice power. Now you have a lot of engine options. You can get a 4-cylinder turbo, you can get the hybrid version, a normal V6. This is pretty sweet. It's pretty darn quick. It's got a lot of power and plenty of traction to where you can actually use this power. Now, when you floor it straight line, I have driven one that my friend owned where I got the rip on it. It is a handful. I mean, this is not a sports car, and yet when you're flooring it, it is like this, and you just gotta keep yourself going straight. So it is something that is fun to drive. It just puts a smile on your face, and it is quite cool. Now with the automatic, the paddle shifters actually work pretty well. Same with shifting using the shifter down below. So you can kind of have that fun street focused performance. Gosh, that overrun sounds so good. You just know that it's not exactly a sports car type of like tight suspension. It's an off-roader with a big old engine, and it's pretty cool. Oh, it sounds so good. I don't know, the driving experience is like nothing else. The Raptor Bronco is awesome. That's probably the biggest competitor. That's pushing $100,000 brand new. And that is a great vehicle, a little bit more stable on road, but the V8 and just the solid axle handling, you know this is like a rock crawler. This is something super, super cool and very different than the Bronco Raptor. So both of them, of course, are amazing SUVs, awesome off-roading, but the Jeep does give you something a little bit extra special with the V8. It just gives you that American muscle aspect, and gosh, you can't help but smile every single time you look at this, every single time you drive it. It is cool. So setting off with my honest thoughts. This thing's cool. And when you do floor it, like I said, I drove my friends where I got to really floor it. This thing's brand new, so we're not gonna go hard on it, be nice to it. They're pretty quick, like they're fast for what they are, and given they don't handle like a sports car or anything that should have power like this, it makes it that much more thrilling because it's a little sketchy. When you're ripping it, this thing is all over the place. So it is a cool experience. It is something that you just don't get elsewhere. You know, the Bronco Raptor is very confident to drive fast. You put that into this sport mode, which is really good for street driving. You can literally rip on that thing on the road, use the paddles, and it's more responsive like a sports car, but in an off-road SUV. This is not quite that. It doesn't quite give you that type of confidence. Instead, it gives you that extra laugh, that extra smile, to where when you are playing with this aggressively, it just kind of throws it back at you. Now with the exhaust in the quiet setting, it does tone down a little bit. We'll try to get up to speed slowly and see what it's like. But you can drive this pretty normally. Nothing really too crazy, 3,000 RPM automatic shifting. So you can actually drive this kind of like a normal car. I do feel like it feels a little bit more put together, more stable and solid than a traditional Wrangler Rubicon. I drove one earlier today. That feels a little bit looser. So the upgrades they've done to this truck, they've definitely done a good job making it handle this power better, because you got a lot of torque, a lot of horsepower, and a heavier motor, just heavier things in general with this truck, to where they've beefed up the vehicle enough to handle it. And it does show when you drive it, it feels like a little bit better product than a standard one. Obviously these Wranglers are not the greatest on-road. They are off-roaders, rock crawlers, hit the trails. That's where they really come to life. This one is pretty decent off-road. Valve on, there's no drone or anything, so at least it's a very livable setup if you're just not ripping on it. And then if you want to kind of play with it a little bit more, handling of course a little sketchy, but you got some power in the sound. Smooth power delivery, the shifts give you a little kick in the back. There's just so much drama, so much character to this. It's so cool. It's an unnecessary vehicle. It's significantly more expensive than a standard one. I drove a normal one, it was 70 grand, which is still a lot of money. It's expensive and crazy, but I think it's all worth it because you can't stop smiling. It's something that you want to drive. You want to be just experiencing this a lot. But there's my look at a 392 Wrangler Rubicon. This thing is sweet. The final edition looks great. Of course, we'll see the next edition coming out for 2025, see if there's any cool updates. But if you want something unique and crazy and wild, something that you can smile, I mean, imagine this vehicle with no roof and no doors. Like, that experience, you just can't beat with a V8. So that is it. Big shout out to Garber Jeep for providing this awesome 392 for today's video. Check out their website, linked below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for plenty more content, and I'll see you all in the next video.